Chris Berman. Let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Falcons put on a display and win by 21 points. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Sam Madison is probably the one that most leaps out at you. Doctors confirming the worst this week, a torn hamstring. And that'll put him out for 9 weeks. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Warrick Dunn sticks out on this list as one of the more costly injuries. Unfortunately, it's a torn ACL, and that'll keep him out for the rest of the season. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Derek Mason had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Jets pick up win number 2. A.J. Touchy-Feely threw for 250-plus yards and helped his Dolphins beat the Patriots. In the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., we had the Redskins end up on the short end of an 18-point shtick. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Chad Bradsky will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 2 years, $2.8 million. We'll shift gears now just a little and have a look at a few trades that should certainly be of interest. Walter Rasby leaves the Redskins and is on the move to the Panthers. And he's a guy that'll really welcome the challenge of performing in his new digs. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. This guy is a guy that ought to be able to fit right in with his new club, and he should make his presence felt over time.
Rams, Seahawks. Matt Hasselbeck looking over the defense from the 22-yard line. And a pump fake. Everybody stops. Oh, that buys the time for the TD. The Seahawks go on to win this by the final score of 28-24. Over at the RCA Dome, we had the Colts fall by 10 points. The Cowboys erupted for 400-plus offensive yards in their victory at Texas Stadium. The Jaguars won on the road and will now head home to meet the Chiefs. Jason Elam played well despite the loss and showed us why he's ranked up at the top of the league. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Steelers pick up their 3rd win of the season. Vikings, Texans. Michael Bennett is in the backfield. The ball is at the 40-yard line, and the lead man throws a block, shakes off one tackle, bounces outside it. Now it's a foot race. The 10, the 5, touchdown. The Vikings win this one by the final score of 34-24. Brad Johnson passed for over 100 yards and helped his Buccaneers beat the Saints. And last but not least, we had the Cardinals come away victorious. So another week in the books here on ESPN, but what do you say we hand out a few game balls before we go? Here's my primetime players. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.